All right, let's talk about getting rich. And I mean starting right at 18 with no college degree. Today, we're breaking down this really intense, no excuses blueprint for building wealth from the ground up. It's all inspired by the thinking of Tyran, the wealth coach. So let's jump right in. Okay, this quote right here, it really gets to the core of this whole idea. It's basically saying that you don't need a fancy piece of paper to be successful. What you do need is a solid plan you can actually follow. And, the grit to stick with it every single day. So what we're looking at here is a totally different way to think about building wealth. Forget the traditional four-year college route. This is all about intense, focused work, learning a very specific skill, and doing it all on a pretty tight schedule. Now, before we jump into the step-by-step playbook, we've got to get the basics right. I'm talking about the what. This whole strategy is built on just two fundamental rules about money. If you don't get these, nothing else works. So let's break them down. Rule number one, it sounds so simple, but it's everything. An asset is anything that makes you money. That's it. It puts cash in your pocket. It's something that works for you, making you money even when you're sleeping. And rule number two? Well, it's the complete opposite. A liability. That's anything that costs you money every single month. It's constantly pulling cash out of your pocket. Like car payments, subscriptions, stuff that just loses value and doesn't earn you a dime. Getting the difference between these two is, well, it's the whole game. Seriously. Your one and only goal is to buy assets and get rid of liabilities. Why? Because one of these columns builds freedom, and the other one, it just builds a cage made of debt. And this is where things get really interesting. This is how you scale up. The idea is that rich people, they don't always use their own money. Nope. They learn how to use the bank's money, credit, what's called OPM, or other people's money, to buy those things that make them money. Okay, so that's the theory, right? Buy assets, not liabilities. Use other people's money. Now let's get into the how, the actual actionable plan. We're going to look at how this all plays out over a super focused 18-month timeline. And trust me, this is where the real work begins. So here they are, the four main steps. You can think of this whole thing like a gauntlet, a really intense period of work and learning. It's all designed to build an insanely strong foundation. First, you get the job. Then you learn the skill. You master credit. And finally, you build the business. Simple, but not easy. Step one, it's pretty straightforward. Get a job. Any consistent job, like working at a fast food chain or something. But here's the secret sauce. The strategy says you need to work the 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. shift. And you might be asking, why that specific shift? It's because it protects the most important part of your day, your morning. This schedule, this is the engine that drives the whole thing. Your job in the afternoon and evening, that's just to bring in cash. But those hours in the morning, say from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., those are sacred. They're non-negotiable. That's what's called your millionaire training window. It's basically your personal university for getting rich. So what are you actually doing in those precious morning hours? You're learning and you're focusing. This is not the time to try out 5 different side hustles at once. No way. The plan is to pick one valuable skill and just go all in on mastering it. Now, the source material points specifically towards trading. The idea is you pick one of these areas, Forex, stocks, options, futures, whatever, and you just dive deep. Every single morning, you're studying, you're practicing, you're taking notes. You do this until you know it like the back of your hand. All right, while you're mastering that skill, there's step 3. You have to learn the rules of the money game. This means understanding your personal credit, your FICO score, which is kind of like your financial report card. Then you level up. You form an LLC, a limited liability company, to create a separate business entity. You get an EIN, which is like a social security number for your business. Why go through all that trouble? Because this is how you unlock the big leagues of other people's money. Okay, so you do all that. You grind it out for 18 months. What's the payoff? What do you actually have at the end of it all? Let's take a look at the incredible foundation you've built for yourself. Look, this isn't some get-rich-quick thing. It's a slow, methodical process. You start with the job and the routine. By month 6, you're getting pretty good at your skill, and you're building credit. By the 1-year mark, you've got your LLC set up. And by month 18, boom, the whole launch pad is built and ready to go. And this right here, this is the real prize. It's not just one thing, it's everything combined. You walk away with a solid job history, a skill that can make you serious money, a great credit score, business credit lines, and maybe the most valuable thing of all, the discipline. The confidence that you get from knowing you can stick to a tough plan and see it through. And what does all that work get you in terms of cash? Well, it translates into capital. We're talking access to somewhere between $10,000 and $50,000, either in savings or credit lines. And that's not just money to spend. That is fuel for your rocket ship. It's the capital you're going to use to buy those assets we talked about, the ones that are going to start building your wealth for real. Okay, last thing. And this might be the most important piece of the entire puzzle. It's not just about following the steps, it's about the mindset you have while you're doing it. And here it is, the core belief. This whole game isn't about being the fastest. It's about being the most consistent. Every single day, you're just stacking knowledge, stacking your credit, stacking your discipline. It's like building a wall, brick by brick. Over time, all those little things add up to something massive. So that really just leaves us with one final question. The plan is all laid out. The timeline is clear. We know what's possible. The only thing missing from the equation is you. The real question isn't, does this plan work? It's, in 18 months, what will your foundation look like?